In the heart of Europe, there is a country that can be described as quite modern. It's a place where people can live freely, with developed roads and stunning architecture. Many of you might recognize this country through its famous city, Vienna, and some might even confuse its name with Australia. Yes, we are talking about Austria, undoubtedly one of the most prominent countries in Europe. Looking at the country on a map, you'll immediately notice that Austria has no coastline. While the country is landlocked, it shares borders with many other countries. For example, one of its most popular neighbors to the north is the Czech Republic, while Slovakia and Hungary are to the east. As you know, the Schengen Agreement allows for easy border crossings between such countries within the Schengen area. To the south of Austria are Slovenia and Italy, while its western neighbors include Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and Germany. This means that an Austrian resident looking for a quick weekend getaway can easily travel to these neighboring countries and enjoy their offerings. Taking a closer look at Vienna, the vibrant capital city, you'll find that, like many other capitals, it is elegantly divided by a significant river. The city's central activities and bustling life are predominantly situated on the western side of the river, which is home to both the major international airport and a plethora of renowned tourist attractions. This western side pulsates with cultural, historical, and social activities, making it the heart of Vienna's allure. From majestic palaces to bustling markets, this area encapsulates the essence of the city's rich heritage and modern vibrancy. Vienna has a population that is quite manageable for a capital city with about 2 million people, both registered and unregistered. Considering Austria's total population of 9 million, nearly a quarter of the country's residents live in or around this city. Austria covers an area of 84,000 square kilometers, with other well-known cities like Graz and Salzburg. Despite having a limited number of cities, Austria makes efficient use of its land, as 62% of it is covered by the Alps. Given its population size, the available land for urban development is quite sufficient. If you follow football, you have likely heard of teams such as Austria Wien, Rapid Wien, Sturm Graz, and Salzburg. These teams represent their respective cities within the country. Returning to Vienna, it's important to mention that in 2024, various research firms ranked it as the most livable city in the world. Even if it's not always in the first place every year, Vienna consistently ranks in the top 5 most livable cities globally. In fact, in 2018, Vienna was also chosen as the best and most livable city in the world. Vienna often competes with Zurich in this regard. Consequently, both Austrians and those who move to Austria for a better life should feel fortunate. Both Zurich in Switzerland and Vienna in Austria make Europe proud in this regard. We will, of course, talk about the beauty and atmosphere of Vienna, but it's also important to note that despite Austria's small size, it has one of the most ancient and rich histories. The name Austria is believed to have first appeared in 996, derived from the German word Ostro. The Germans actually named their country Österreich, which translates to Austria in English and means Eastern Country. The name Austria is essentially a Latinized version of the country's original name. In the following centuries, a significant dynasty that brought Austria fame and renown emerged. The Austrian Habsburg dynasty, which rose to prominence, was one of the greatest states of the 15th century and engaged in decades-long struggles with another great empire, the Ottoman Empire. After the Habsburg reign, the Austrian Empire and the Austro-Hungarian empires continued to wield significant influence over world history. Then World War I began, dramatically altering the political landscape and marking the end of the Age of Empires. Today, most former imperial states, including Austria, have transformed into republics and democracies, reflecting a profound shift from their imperial past. Today, Austria is one of the world's most prosperous countries with a high per capita income. Various sources place it among the top 20 richest countries. For instance, according to Forbes, Austria ranks 14th in the list of the richest countries in 2024. This means that the annual income per capita in Austria is about $59,000. Austria is also a strong player in production and branding. Famous global brands like Red Bull, Spar supermarkets, and Swarovski jewelry are based in Austria. Speaking of supermarkets, if you visit Austria, especially Vienna, you will not find supermarkets open after 6 p.m. on Saturdays. Also, supermarkets are completely closed on Sundays. Therefore, if you are planning a short weekend visit, you should take care of your grocery needs in advance. I'm sure you all know that the official language in Austria is German. A significant portion of the population speaks Bavarian German. Slovenian and Hungarian are also widely spoken, with 2% of the population being Turks and another 2% being Serbs and Bosniaks. These minority communities generally speak their native languages. Statistics show that 82% of Austria's population is Austrian and has adopted German. As you walk around, you'll notice that most of the signs in the cities are written in German, reflecting the widespread use of the language. Additionally, Austrians have always been protectors of the Church and Christianity throughout their history. In this regard, we can say that Austrians are devout Catholics. According to sources, 55% of the country's population identifies as Christian and Catholic. Another 5% consider themselves Protestant, while 25% of the population identifies as non-religious. Muslims make up about 8% of the population. The remaining minorities include Jews and adherents of other religions. What stands out here is that atheists and non-believers are estimated to be over 25% of the population. Similar to their northern neighbors, the Czech Republic, Austria has a significant number of non-believers, especially among the 18 and 50 age group. Shifting focus from general information about the country to everyday life, Vienna, the capital, greets you with a calm and orderly atmosphere. As you look around, you'll see people cycling to their destinations, cars driving through the city's clean streets without honking, and pedestrians walking around. In Vienna, where you can hardly find any litter on the ground, residents responsibly dispose of their trash in these green bins. They throw their glass bottles into the bins with green lids and their paper and plastic waste into the bins with yellow lids. Vienna boasts a plethora of architecturally valuable buildings, each showcasing a unique blend of historical and aesthetic significance. Most of these structures are meticulously constructed in pristine white and various elegant shades of white, reflecting a timeless charm. These centuries-old edifices stand almost as perfectly and magnificently as if they were crafted only yesterday, their grandeur undiminished by the passage of time. As you stroll through the enchanting streets of Vienna, you'll encounter buildings at every turn that beg to be captured in photographs, each one a testament to the city's rich architectural heritage. For example, there is such a masterpiece on Ring Street in the bustling city center. This is the Austrian Parliament building, widely regarded as one of the most beautiful parliamentary buildings in the world in terms of its splendid architecture. The building was meticulously constructed by a renowned Danish architect between 1873 and 1883, a project that spanned an entire decade. Unfortunately, the building you admire today is not entirely the same as the one originally built back then. The Parliament building suffered extensive damage during the tumultuous period of World War II. However, the resilient Austrians painstakingly restored it without deviating from the original design and triumphantly reopened it to the public in 1956. If you wish, you can take photos in front of the building like this Asian girl or go further and tour the interior. Right next to it, you will find another magnificent structure, the Vienna City Hall. You'll always see the Austrian flag waving atop such important buildings and architectures. The Austrian flag consists of red and white horizontal stripes. Some say it is the oldest flag still in use today, with its origins dating back to the 12th century. According to legend, this flag represents the blood-red color covering the Austrian duke's coat during a siege, with the white part symbolizing the untouched section in the middle. If you get tired while enjoying the architecture in the ring area of Vienna, you can take a break in one of the festival areas set up in the city corners, just like these people, and have a drink or a snack. Observing the atmosphere among the festival workers and attendees, people don't seem very stressed or anxious. Both the workers and the visitors appear to enjoy a sense of calm brought by tranquility. While sitting somewhere and observing the surroundings, you might suddenly see horse-drawn carriages and firecrackers appearing in the traffic. It's important to note that carriage rides are particularly famous in Vienna. These carriage drivers pick up their customers at the city's most touristic spots and take them on a tour of the city on horseback. They don't just take them around, but also provide verbal descriptions of the places they visit. These carriage tours are not a modern invention. The tradition of horse-drawn carriages in cities of Central Europe, such as the Czech Republic and Austria, dates back to the 17th century. This form of transportation, which has become a cultural symbol in these societies, adds a touch of nostalgia to contemporary Austria and supports those who earn their livelihood from tourism. While most carriage drivers are men, you can occasionally see female drivers on the roads. Unfortunately, it is the horses that bear the brunt of this tradition. Vienna's roads are designed to be very functional for their intended purposes. For example, almost all main streets have separate paths for bicycles and pedestrians. If you walk on the bike and electric scooter lanes, you might get hit by cyclists who zoom past like a storm, endangering both parties. The residents of Vienna take such pride in their city's cleanliness that they discourage even the disposal of cigarette butts on the ground. You'll often see orange and grey plastic containers by the bike lanes specifically for cigarette butts. Safety in Vienna is at a very high level. Many key locations in the city have police patrols. These patrols do not interfere with people unless there is an abnormal situation, allowing residents and visitors to walk around safely. Some patrols move around in cars, while others ensure security in groups on street corners. Vienna also offers an array of automated services conveniently located in public spaces. One of these useful amenities is the weight measuring devices. People can effortlessly step onto these devices situated near bus stops to receive up-to-date information about their body weight. Another vital service provided for the public's benefit is the free drinking water stations, which are ingeniously cooled by solar energy. You can fill your bottles with ice-cold water at these stations, enjoying the convenience as if you were purchasing it from a store. Interestingly, the taste of this water is often superior to that of the bottled water sold in stores, providing an unexpected delight for the taste buds. Considering that Vienna uses the euro and ranks as one of the most expensive cities in Europe, taking advantage of these free cold water stations instead of buying water can result in significant savings. Especially on weekends, when most supermarkets are closed, you might find yourself overpaying if you resort to purchasing water from kiosks, run by Turks and South Asians in metro stations. These kiosks typically sell half-liter bottles for around 1.5 euros, which can add up quickly. Therefore, if you get thirsty while exploring the city, it's wise to seek out these free cold water stations in tourist, heavy areas to quench your thirst without incurring extra costs. Additionally, people with dogs frequently use these stations to hydrate and cool their pets, ensuring everyone's comfort during their adventures in Vienna. Another feature found in Vienna, which is commonly seen in Arab countries, is public water spray cooling points. Despite Vienna's much milder climate compared to Arabia, these cooling points are available for public use. If you're feeling overheated, you can stand under these water sprays to cool off, making it a great service for hot summer days. Let's talk a little bit about the transportation system of this highly praised city. First of all, the transportation system in Vienna works really smoothly and systematically. If you want to get from the airport to the center of Vienna and back, the Austrian government has provided you with two important services. The first is the city airport train, or CAT, which is a luxurious and fast train system that takes you from the airport to the city in 16 minutes. Of course, this is a bit expensive, and you need to buy a ticket for 15 euros per person. The second one is S7, which is a more affordable train system that travels around the city. Also, some of the metro and rail systems in the city can be old. If you come across old trains while you are there, you have to force open the subway doors yourself. You need to buy a ticket at the entrance to the metro and rail systems, but there is no turnstile system in this country as in the Czech Republic. So some people may be getting on these rail systems illegally. These rail systems that you can use quickly in Vienna are known as U-Bahn, and you will see blue-colored U signs at these metro points. If you are going to travel much closer distances in Vienna, trams are the solution to your problems at this point. There is a tram system in almost every street in the city, and people can reach their desired destinations by trams without the need to walk. If you take the metro and trams only once, the ticket prices are expensive and you can spend €3 for each ride. However, you can get cheaper transportation in Vienna by buying weekly transportation cards. Of course, there are taxes in the city, but if you are coming from a country with a lower currency than the European Union member states, do not use taxis in these countries. Taxi drivers can charge you up to €50 for distances less than 20 kilometers, and Austria is one of them. If you want to grab a bite to eat on the move in Vienna, there are about 500,000 Turks living in Vienna. Almost all of the Turks there have a monopoly on restaurants and snack shops. They usually sell doner and kebabs. In these mobile kiosks, they make doner kebabs according to the taste of Germans and Austrians. In this sense, you will see Turks and doner shops everywhere in Vienna, and the restaurants most preferred by tourists coming to the country are mostly the shops opened by Turks. Another must-see attraction in the capital city of Vienna is the Habsburg Palace. The palace has a very large area, and people can enjoy themselves on the lawns on the sides. Historically, this palace was used as a winter residence by the Habsburg dynasty. Inside the palace, items belonging to the kings and queens of that period are exhibited. For example, French Queen Marie, who is known for her famous quote, "If there is no bread, let them eat cake," was said exactly in this palace. The palace is still standing today and has a history of more than 600 years. The palace is also known as the Royal Palace of Vienna. When the palaces and roads in Vienna are so beautiful, it is not to be expected that the cars are ugly. It is admirable that the car drivers you pass in the city drive by obeying the traffic rules, and the vehicles they drive mostly belong to the big German brands. You have to make a lot of effort to see a car under the 2020 model in Vienna. Every single one of the vehicles in traffic belongs to dazzlingly beautiful, luxurious premium vehicles. In this country, where the annual national income per capita is said to be $60,000, we can foresee that people receive an average monthly salary of €4,000 to €5,000. On the official websites of famous car brands, you will find that new Toyota cars are sold in Vienna for between €20,000 and €30,000. New models from German giants Mercedes and BMW range from €30,000 to €60,000. While these prices might seem high for new cars, it is possible to find second-hand models for half the price. Given the high-end models seen on the roads, Austrians likely prefer to buy new cars. This is where the heart of the whole city beats in Vienna. Stephanplatz, which you can reach directly by subway, is home to every famous brand you can think of and the famous St. Stephen's Cathedral. No matter what your beliefs are, this cathedral has an architecture that mesmerizes you at first sight. It was built over 900 years ago, and it stands in front of you in all its majesty. There is always a huge crowd of people gathering around the cathedral. These people are of almost every nationality, and when they see the cathedral, their first priority is to take pictures and be photographed. Stephanplatz, the main square of the city, is really large and has the capacity to host thousands of people at the same time. It is at this point that you can make clear observations about the general physical appearance of Austrian people. First of all, people are not very tall. While the average Austrian man can be 180 centimeters tall, women seem to lower this average, and the statistics say so. Austrian women are on average 166 centimeters tall. If you look at them a little more carefully, you can see that both men and women have blue or green eyes. Women in particular do not have large facial features and are mostly petite. In addition, these people have white and auburn skin and seem to be naturally blonde in terms of hair color. When all these features are combined, they definitely resemble Germans and a little Swedes in terms of facial genetics. Both the elderly and middle-aged adults have an air of seriousness. In the squares of Vienna, young people between the ages of 18 and 25 are more inclined to smile, while older people look more disciplined and strict. If you point a camera at young people, they are never shy with the camera. They smile and pose at the same time. This could mean that young people in the country look good and feel happy not only physically but also mentally. It must be said that people look really rich and wealthy. But there is a general lack of spirit in Vienna. If you go to Prague in the Czech Republic, just north of the country, 4 hours away, you will feel a warmer atmosphere of life there. But this is not there in Vienna. Everyone here seems elite, and there seems to be an ego competition between people. They have a body language as if everyone is at the top and no one cares about each other. These are, of course, my observations. In fact, the situation could be much more opposite. There are also a lot of tattooed people in this country, just like in the Czech Republic. In Vienna, everyone from garbage men to normal people can get tattoos and piercings on the most unexpected parts of their bodies. So there is a lot of diversity in society, and what you do or don't do with your body is entirely your business, and nobody interferes with that. Even if you are a very overweight person, no one around you in Vienna judges you or looks at you with disapproving eyes. The country is also liberalized with regard to weed and cannabis products. The sale of products containing certain amounts of narcotics is permitted in Vienna and Austria. It is also interesting that beggars in Austria look healthier, younger and better groomed than beggars in other countries. So, for example, this person looks as if she is begging for pleasure. If she wanted to, I think she could find a rich person instead of begging. At least this young boy is trying to earn money by making music. Others are really in need of begging. Because a man who has lost his limbs doesn't seem to have much of an alternative to work. Don't let these images fool you, of course. In Vienna, you are unlikely to come across homeless people and beggars like these, and the vast majority of people live a very high-quality life in good conditions. Although there were so many people in the center of Vienna, Austria, there was one thing I found lacking. There were no activities other than the shops that would allow people to spend time. In other words, the idea of street dancers, musicians, painters, and many other unimaginable activities that would liven up the squares was absent in Vienna. Even though I walked all over the square, people were doing nothing but walking and going in and out of shops and cafes. This alone is one of the reasons why the city seems dull compared to most other European countries. There are only a lot of pretty young blue-eyed girls and a lot of charismatic, moneyed-looking older brothers. But one thing is for sure, the country is very safe. There is maybe not even a 1% chance that something will happen to you for no reason in the capital of this country. While you are there, you will not be harmed by people, and you are very unlikely to be harmed by dogs. Because I didn't see any stray dogs in the city, and those who have aggressive dogs have put protectors on the muzzle of their dogs. So even if the dogs become aggressive towards you, they will not bite you. If you get bored of visiting museums or walking through large shopping squares while in Vienna, the city offers you another alternative. The city also has a river. Austria has equipped this river in Vienna with beautiful boats and areas where people can spend time with their families. Those who are bored of the city center can sit on the benches by the Danube, eat ice cream, and chat with their families. This allows you to escape from the hustle and bustle and enjoy a quiet moment. If you want to live in Vienna after all this, you should also get an idea of the rents in Vienna. Apartments in Vienna are mostly low in terms of square meters. The average one-bedroom apartment is around 45 square meters and rents are around 1,500 euros per month. The monthly rent for a two-bedroom apartment over 60 square meters is comfortably over 2,000 euros. In other words, in order to support yourself in Austria, even if you rent a one-bedroom apartment, you need to have a net income of 3,000 euros per month. If you have a net income of over 5,000 euros, a family of 4 can live an average quality life in this city. But if you are staying in Austria for a short time, you should definitely try their very famous dish, the Austrian schnitzel. Some restaurants make it with chicken and serve it with sliced lemon and potato salad. But there are also places that make schnitzel with beef, and it is served in a similar way. There is also a higher tolerance for alcohol in this country than in other European countries. That's all we have to say about Austria and Vienna for now. If you like the video, you can like it and subscribe to the channel for more such videos. Goodbye.